so I'm going to move on to the base and get the base ready for the Enterprise 1/350 scale. And with the lighting kit, it tells you to notch out a small part, use the glue gun so you can run the wire. Actually, I'm going to go ahead and take this out of the plastic. Okay, the base basically is the plastic dome with the little hole in it, and you've got the metal rod where the wires are going to pass through, and it's going to go to the model. You know, the wires are going to go through there. And like I said, they tell you to notch out a small triangle so you can hot glue, let me show you the plug into place where it's not going to get in the way when it's on the flat surface. I was thinking about doing a different base. I was thinking about making one out of wood. But I didn't have the materials to make it look like the way I wanted it to look, and I didn't want it to look foolish. I didn't want to do all that work on the model and have the base look really cheesy or very amateur. So I'm going to use this base. And if you guys are doing this, a good thing is when you're testing everything to make sure it works and you wire the power supply, you don't want to permanently solder the wires, because this part right here, the little alligator clip, again, I apologize for trying to get the shot in, but this won't pass through the little metal rod. So what you're going to do is you're going to want to take it and run the wires, feed it through the bottom for the power supply, and then once it's through, attach the part with the alligator clip. And I don't know what I'm going to do for a design because it'll look pretty plain, but because the lighting kit itself does not come with a switch, it's basically plug it in and the ship goes on. But what I did was I got a switch, and it's a lighted switch. I chose yellow because I figured it'd be nice, because the logo for Star Trek is yellow, so that's why I chose yellow. So I'm going to drill a hole, drill out the opening, and I can hot glue that into place, and I can prep the base to get ready for putting the wires there permanently. So first thing I'm going to do is I'll go ahead and I'll notch, like they suggest, for the power cord, and I'll show you what that looks like when I'm done. Okay, so I did a little notch, not really a big notch, just, you know, to keep it where the wire will go through the bottom and it'll stay flat and solid. Another thing that I'm going to do now is, because the hole, the support rod, it doesn't go all the way through, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to drill a small little hole right at the bottom over there, just so I can pass the wires through. It doesn't have to be huge, just enough to pass the wires. And I'll drill that and I'll show you what it looks like. Alright, so I drilled the hole, and it'll be all set to pass the wires through the pole. Now, what I did was, because I have a switch that I'm going to run it to, the model is going to be plugged in. I can leave it plugged in all the time, but you know, when you want it to go on, instead of plugging it and unplugging it, I'm going to use the switch. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to run the power directly to the switch, and then from the switch I'm going to run the power to this piece that's going to connect to wire B. So when the switch will be closed, it will complete the circuit and the ship will work. And then when you want it off, open the switch and it won't work. The power will be cut off. So I'm going to start putting the things underneath to get it ready and glue them into place. I'm going to start by cutting the hole for the switch and fitting that into place. And it's going to be coming in, the plug is going to be coming in from there, so we'll make that the back of the base. do is I'll put the switch probably on the side. So I'll do the hole and I'll show you what it looks like when it's done. Okay, so what I did was I took the pattern, measured it out, put a little template on the base, cut it out with the drill, and just kind of little pieces and chipping away until I got the switch to fit in. And now you can see you want to put it on, and when you're done you can put it off. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to wire the switch, and I'm going to glue all of the wires into place, so it'll be all set to just plug the power supply that'll lead to the ship in. So I am going to have to cut the wire. Let me get it up. Again, I apologize for all the messy camera work, but I'm going to cut this, run this to the switch, and from the switch I'm going to run this peg into this piece. So when I get it wired up and hot glued into place, I'll show you what it'll look like. Okay, so because I am using a lighted switch, and you want the switch to light up just because it looks cool, and it's going to light your ship, you want it, and you put it off, the lights go out and the LED goes out, but you want it, you put it on, the ship will come on and the switch will stay on. So let me tell you what you got to do to wire it. Actually, you know what? I'll use a separate switch. So you've got your switch. Excuse my awful looking Band-Aid, by the way. So you've got the switch, you've got a brass, and you've got two silvers. Now let me show you the way I did it with the brass. On the end, I got the brass on the left-hand side. So the brass will take the positive from the lead coming in from the outlet. The middle one will take the negative from the lead coming in from the outlet. Now the third prong, you're going to take a wire and you're going to attach it, I don't know if you can see that, to one of the leads going to your circuit board. Now the other wire, you're going to attach it as the ground, and it's going to go right back on to the brass. Now I know this is difficult, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to draw out a diagram, and I'm going to put the diagram up to show you how to do the switch. Because there are different ways that you can do it, and you could just use it, the switch, just to light up the ship with just the two wires, but then it won't light up, the LED won't come on, and you want that to come on. So once that's tested and it's all set, you can go ahead and solder it in place. That's what I'm going to do. Like I said, I'm going to put up a diagram. I'm going to draw it out and put it up for you. So that being said, I'm going to solder everything on the bottom. Let me put this off. I'm going to solder everything on the bottom, and I'm going to hot glue all the wires into place, and then I'm going to show you what it looks like. Okay, so let me show you what I did to update. I glued, well, first off, I soldered all the wires to the switch to each other. Then I used some black electrical tape. Then what I did was I placed the wires into the bottom of the base, and it was easier for me to notch out the fins that come out and run the wires through them, just so everything stays nice and flat and it doesn't look very pretty. I know, but it will be held in place, and when you flip it over, you can see the base is solid and it's flat on the surface. And when you go to push the button, it lights up. Everything's set to go. Put it off, and the base is ready to wire the ship. The clip will come through. Let me show you the clip. This will come through, and that's the part you run to the pole. It's going to go to the bottom of the ship. So that being said, the wiring for the base is all set. And I'll show you what I'm going to do with the decorations or the design on the top in a minute. Okay, so I put the designs on top of the base, and I wasn't really sure what to put because there was so many cool options that I had. I wanted to make it look like a planet at first, where the Enterprise was orbiting it, and I thought, nah, I really don't know how to make that work. Then I was going to use, let's see, the paragraphics sheet came with some things. Came with the Enterprise, USS Enterprise. It came with the registration numbers, but I didn't think that looked good. It also has the United Federation of Planets logo for the paragraphics, but I might use that for the Enterprise refit that I'm doing. I thought it would look better on that. What I ended up using instead was from the polar lights, because I got the deluxe lighting kit. And you can see it's got the photo etch sheet that came in it. And I thought the Star Trek logo looked really cool, especially on the base, you know. And on the back part, let me just flip it over for you. I thought the Delta logo looked really cool. So, that being said, let me show you where the hole is. I'll get it around here. Okay. Alright. Sorry about that. I found the pole. So that's all ready to go. You get the logo. Get the Delta logo in the back. Everything underneath is hot glued and ready to run the wires through here. And you put the light out. I don't think it's going to make much of a difference. But when you put the switch on, it's going to light up. I think it looks pretty cool. It was a little bit of extra work, but I think it was worth it. I think it came out cool. And of course, it's going out of focus. But that being said, that concludes this part for the base. For the 1/350 scale USS Enterprise, NCC 1701. I hope you enjoyed this video, and I'll see you soon.